Oh, my name is Jennifer Bierhup, and I am the president of Libellen Learning.
And I am Therese, and I own Cicerone Consultants.
Talk about the six rights of CTP administration. I'm going to bring you back a little bit, back to nursing school, Therese, way back
Mhm.
to nursing
That's a
school, way
long
back.
time
A
ago.
long time ago, right? Maybe not for everybody that's listening, but I don't know about you, but when we started to talk about medication administration, when we started to go into those classes, we were taught the six rights of medication administration. And it was kind of like hammered into our heads, right? That you had to know this, you had to memorize this. And it was for safely administering the correct medication at the correct time to the correct patient. And it stood for right patient, right medication, right dose, right route, right time, right documentation. I think, as a matter of fact, I was in the middle of clinical once and we had to recite it kind of like boot camp, like all of us all together. And I think it never leaves your brain after you've been through nursing school. So, we're going to talk a little bit about how we think that if we can take the same concept, the same universal concept, and bring it over to how we discuss, document our CTPs, that this might simplify it a little bit for us and kind of create a pathway for us to accurately stay compliant for our CTP documentation. Therese, what do you think?
I think this is an excellent process for everybody to really understand. And it's kind of interesting how we can apply it to a lot of different pieces of nursing. But
Mhm.
when we break this down for cellular tissue products, I think you're going to find that this is going to be an easy way to keep medical necessity in mind. And as we go through it, it's also going to help keep the outcomes in front of us so we understand where we're at with that. And it's also going to help us stay compliant with the LCDs because as we look at the wound, in this certain way of assessing it, it's going to keep that documentation compliant.
Mhm.
And as a result, the billing piece of it, where your documentation goes, it's going to help that as well. So we understand how the billing cycle goes and to keep all the documentation in line with the codes that we're billing. So I think that you're right, Jen, that I think this way and process of looking at
Mhm.
wound care and assessment and documentation is going to be very helpful, especially since we're in such a flux in wound care, as we all know, for those of us in this industry, especially with Medicare and what's
Mhm.
going on with LCDs and MACs and reimbursements and everything. I think everybody understands the most critical piece of these changes is the
Mhm.
documentation and the medical necessity of what we're doing.
So, saying that, Therese, let's
Mhm.
talk about what these actually are. So, let's talk about the new six rights of CTP administration. What is it? What are they? Right
Right?
patient, right
Very
etiology,
important.
right measurement, right time, right product, right size. If you take that very simple idea, take the six rights of medication administration, simplify it down to a universal concept that many of us just are so used to living by, and bring that to the CTP world, use this as your documentation mnemonic, if you will, something that
Mhm.
always all of us universally go back to consistently. I think we might see that the documentation pieces might kind of fall into place if we start utilizing the six rights of CTP administration.
Absolutely. And when that falls into place, so does our compliance, right? So
Mhm.
do our outcomes, and then obviously our billing as well.
This is exciting. So, Therese, I'm thinking what we're going to do is in the coming days, you and I are going to break down each of these rights individually and discuss what they mean and how you document toward them and how they actually work in the Medicare compliance world. Why we chose these particular rights. And so I'm excited for us to
Mhm.
get together in the next coming days and kind of discuss this, Therese, because we always love our discussions.
Yes, we do. So stay tuned and just watch for coming episodes.
Oh, my name is Jennifer Bierhup, and I am